patch exists! The patch actually exists! Courtesy of our first ever public playtest, we give you Grim Dawn's latest changelog, largest changelog actually ever. We hope you enjoy this massive list of improvements to the game's balance that will hopefully give you many more opportunities to create your unstoppable monster slayers. For the full list of changes, see below. So blah blah blah, right? They actually made a proper menu this time. I really like it. So Crucible Gladiator is basically worth farming now. Right in the past, or until this patch, Gladiator Crucible was pretty much always worse than Shadow Realm. Shadow Realm 75 to 76 or Shadow Realm 65 to 66 on average gave you better results, and then farming Crucible 150 to 170 on Gladiator difficulty. Which means now that depending on the performance of your build, you might rather wanna farm Crucible or SR, right? Depending on which one you enjoy more to play, and also depending on which build you're using that is better at, I don't know, call it A or B, right? Tech issues, whatever. Casting skill of the keyboard would behave inconsistently with casting the same skills via the mouse. This has resulted in an approximately 5% correction to attacks per second and DPS calculations on the character sheet. So basically just tooltip improvements. Certain skill modifiers for pets would not correctly update the tooltip. Okay, more tooltip, okay. Animation, this one is actually big because this one will give you more DPS, right? Jump attack animation was used by weapon pool skills such as Markovian's Advantage, Soldier's Markovian's Advantage, and some items and components, which mean that these skills will now feel better on a two-handed, right, and one-handed, right? So this will be feeling better on one-handed and two-handed melee. So these should be 34% improvement, so 34% quicker to, well, proc, and that means that these should be, on average, not a DPS loss anymore on certain builds. Okay, Unstoppable Mutator has less CC resistances for you now, or enemies. It's actually for enemies, right? Yeah, that's good for, I think, the especially sets that revolve around freezing or trapping the enemies, like Rhyme Tongue and Mage Slayer. Nemesis bosses now have slightly reduced control resistances as well, blah blah blah. So again, those certain those specific builds that rely around CC, like Mage Slayer and the Rhyme Tongue set, are gonna feel better now than before. Also, apologize for my bad reading skills right now. It's past midnight and I'm kind of, yeah, tired already. Three-minute Crucible builds incoming, bad chest. Good luck with that. Okay, some more fixes, right, and so on and so on. Very nice, very nice. Always good to see the game improving. Itemization. So the big thing here is Pierce prefixes got nerfed, right? Pierce rare prefixes got nerfed, like Cutthroats, removed attack speed, and so on. And then also the offhand prefixes that gave you physical resistance, like Sandstorm, Glacial, right? These basically have less physical resistance now as well, right? Versus Sandstorm, there is, right? Yeah. So these are a little bit worse now, just like Thunderstruck as well. I guess it's fair because before that, all of these, or offhands rather, needed to basically have this or this or this, right? Otherwise they were basically trash. So by nerfing these, it's better now to not have them, I guess. I don't know. That's one way to balance them, I guess. Right. Suffix. Amaras's Flurry removed Cunning, another of those, basically Cunning / Pierce damage nerfs that they are doing on affixes, right? You have to reform all the offense now. Yeah, good luck. Components, Seed of Destruction, Night, Shadows, and Skies have no crit damage anymore. These filler skills were apparently a little bit too strong for filler, so yeah, they're being nerfed. which I guess is fine. I mean, this kind of will matter the most for people spamming them non-stop in softcore Crucible environments, right? If you're playing hardcore and you didn't like spam them all the time anyway, then you won't feel this that much. Okay, faction equipment, Aether Bolt, Pendant. I guess, yeah, buffed for Aether, right? Also increased A, but has less lightning resistance now on Stormbox. So, like, overall, I would say rather a nerf. But it's good for a la Ghost, right? The Aether buff, I think. Blaze Rush, this was the Elemental's weapon, right?
Good, you're back.
Has more damage now on our people than Virus Might.
Hey,
yo, Baker. Welcome in, man. Thank you so much for the 7-month resub. Wait, you already like a sub 7 months? Holy. Welcome in. By the way, Baker, are you gonna play the Grim Dawn season? Maybe. Question mark.
I've been expecting
if you want to play some more Grim Dawn, which I know you did somewhat like, then I would say the Grim Dawn season is a good opportunity for that. Also, Super 90 with the Prime, welcome on, welcome on. Thanks so much for your support as well. More information on the season. Actually, ! League is the better command for that for you. It's gonna start on the 20th of November, so like in pretty much 3 weeks from now. Yo, Atakan, welcome on, welcome on. Rot guy's got huge buffs, it seems. Why now? Maybe. I haven't actually tried it yet, so I don't know. Blood Borer, I mean, okay, like some of these are like... Should we go over every single item again? I don't really feel like doing that this time. It's too late. Also, this is the longest patch note ever, so... You just like skim through these. I mean, something about like nerfed a bit, buffed a bit. If there's anything that you guys want to talk about, let me know. Most of these are like meme/niche items for niche builds getting buffed, which is always good for more build variety. But other than that, more Aether damage to Panetti, for example, right? Like Panetti being stronger is always okay, because why not, right? Hexflame has +1 Oathkeeper, so pretty nice for Fire Templars, right? Fire Aether Templars might be really good with those now. Hall of the Wendigo, yeah, Vitality, one-handed Blade Arc. I think this still somewhat sucks, but maybe it's okay to use now, I don't know. Mark of Burning Shadows, increased fire damage to Bone Harvest. That's gonna be interesting, especially for the League. Mark of Lethal Intense, more acid damage for Jiggy Eye, okay, cool. More Panetti buffs, right? Reaver's Hunger, more Bone Harvest buffs here. Redeemer of Mammoth, physical damage increase, sure. Solaris Devourer. Oh, that's getting a small nerf, right? Because it was like, I think, the strongest Ignifor weapon in the game, at least in the last patch. The Mage Slayer Fire Ignifor build is really nice now, for damage at least. Was this game too hard? Not really, but they're mostly buffing only like meme stuff, right? So it's like they are only like buffing actually bad stuff, right? So I think it's good for balance to have like more variety when it comes to viability, right? Will Morganath's items only drop from Morganath? They drop only in the dungeon. I think only one of the items drops from him himself and the ring. The others drop from like other parts in the dungeon. I mean, Grim Tools should be able to tell you that. I really like this change, by the way. Augment, Kaiman's Will. I mean, no, this one. Spare Ward Powder. Replace Lightning Rust with Vitras. This is the Death's Vigil augment. So Vigil finally has also a good augment now. This is like Vitras and something else, which is also useful. Which means that you no longer just always like mindlessly pick Kaiman's for better augments, right? You can now actually also pick Vigil for decent augments, if you can make use of this one, right? This one might be good for endgame. Maybe. Depends on the build, right? It always depends on the build. What's the stuff here? More, I mean, yeah, like they're buffing Vitality Granado, for example. I mean, that's Like, was that good? No, it was like complete meme before, right? So it's like, it's fine to buff this, of course. When you go cleaver, yes. Like, these were like not good items before, so buffing them is totally fine. Relics, they are nerfing the, where is it? The Juggernaut relic, right? Removing half a gen on the skip rock because of my Avenger Water, I guess. Feels bad, man. The Storm has more lightning retail now. Eldritch Pact has more chaos damage and percent chaos. Doom has more physical damage, which is fine because Doom was most of the time not used because people always just played, if they want to do like play damage, they just played Deathstalker Relic, right? Nemesis, removed racial damage to humans, okay. This one getting buffed, okay. What else is there here? I don't even know what this one is, so I assume it was banned before. And getting Physical on this is pretty nice. Blade Master's Talisman, further increased percent activation on the grounded skill. Yes, these tier 3 dual wielding enabling weapon, relics like Blade Masters and Plunderers were in the past generally avoided. And now they're being buffed, right? Especially the grounded skill, the weapon pool skill is being buffed, 90% chance of being buffed. So these make it easier for you to hit like 100% weapon pool skill chance as well if you're dual wielding. And this might actually make these viable now, like a viable alternative to other ways of like being able to dual wield. Interesting. And other than that, Urborg's Reaping got nerfed, right? A bit. Which is fine, I guess. Okay, monster frequency, Aether Scorched Cleaver. This was the physical Cadence weapon, I think. Orlan's Rage is way better than Bloodseer, of course, so that's a huge buff. Yeah, this is also a buff. Might be good as like a one-off now for Cadence. Dual wield Cadence. Scourge even more bonkers. That's true, yeah. It was already like decent, I feel like, but very niche. But yeah, like buffing niche is good in it. So it's not like it's fine. Ascendant Conduit added -1 cooldown modifier to OFF. Whatever, I guess. Ascendant Call increased bonuses to summon Thorn +3. I don't think the skill needs buffs. But okay. Increases bonuses to Devastation, Inquisitor Seal to +3, sure. That seems actually good for this one. Ascendant Source added modifiers for Drain Essence. Drain Essence always should get some more support. This should be actually cool for a Cabalist, I think. Because that's the one that gives you like duration to Sidious, right? Please tell me you get more Chaos or Doombolt. Maybe. Ascendant Diadem. Yeah, it's a good item, right? I was using this on the Solar Sapphire Druid, which already was on this patch. Yeah, this is sick on the Druid, or on any Stormcaller's Pact character. Like, it's insane. But a Ghost Crusher, reduced health regen. I don't understand this nerf, for example. Like, what? Maybe the Blood of Dream modifiers are good, so that's why they felt like they had to reduce this instead. What are the actual modifiers for this? But a Ghost Crusher, I have a build with this, so let's check it out real quick actually. Should we still playtest? I think I can like opt out of playtest now, right? Because it should be literally the same now. Okay, Bane Gargoth Shard replaced Pierced Delta Fire for Force Wave with 100% Physical Fire. Okay, the thing is, Force Wave is getting its Pierced damage removed, right? Which is why this one is useless now. And thus getting Fist of Fire instead is gonna be a huge buff for this as well. This is a shield, right? So this like cooldown fire force with a shield. Rather niche, I would say. But yeah, this is getting a huge buff as well, so might be even more appealing now. Bargo's core, added modifiers for our summon familiar. Some pet stuff that I don't personally care about, but if you're playing this, maybe look at this item, right? Bargo's heart, replace bonuses to ABB with +3 Another Awakening, blah blah blah. Yeah, should be a pretty nice buff for Nightmates for sure. This should be way better than this on average. Barrock's Bloody Arm, replace bonuses to Bloody Pox with +2 tenacity of the boar. Makes more sense for savagery builds right early in the game. That's the one-hander that you get from the very first boss in the game, right? Bartholon's Wormwall, added modifiers for Aura Censure. That's very good for, like... This is the Purifier fast track weapon, right? I think the Wormwall is that. Bartholom. Basilisk Crust. Yeah. Less cooldown reduction to RE. I mean, I guess it's fair. This one is really strong. It's a really strong metal. Okay, where's the build? Okay, where's the Witch Hunter? That's a dead one. Those are little ones. Hello, Witch Hunter? There it is. Let's check out the Bartholon's Gavel, right? Bartholon's... Was it Gavel or Wormwall? It was Bartholom's Wormwall, okay. So that's the fast track one, right? Yeah, this one getting Censure stuff is really nice for melee purifiers. I mean, melee fast track is kind of niche anyway, right? Did they get us out just for Grim Dawn League? I want to believe they did. They know us. Copium. They all know us, yeah. They care about us, right? Copium. They came from our mouth. What? Who? Okay. So this one got what now? Full Pierce to Acid and Health Regen to Blood of Dreeg. Okay, so they just moved the Health Regen from the base item to Dreeg instead. And that's fair. Pierce to Acid. Wait, no. The only thing they added here is the Health Regen? What? Oh boy, I was getting excited for this, but it's actually just Health Regen and that's it. Wow. How much is it? 700? Are you gonna play Health Regen on this thing now if you're a Witch Hunter? It's just cosmetic, right? Oh well. Not really that much of a buff, to be honest. Not really, not really. Rest in peace, Witch Hunter? No, it's not rest in peace, it's more like it's the same as before. Bound Wraith, cooldown modifier reduction to raise skeletons. Are you gonna use this one for skeletons though? I mean, maybe if you're playing Vitality for leveling, this is good. Bone Bleach Halberd, added modifiers for Aura of Conviction. Is it finally time for that 200 Shadow Strike meme Infiltrator? Maybe that's right. What else do we have here? Blaze Herald, increased Aether damage to Word of Pain. That's the Aether dagger, right? For Nightblades. Removed its Aether resistance reduction modifier, so the Word of Pain stuff is getting nerfed actually. Okay. Bloodbriar's Thorn. Oh yeah, this is the one that I played as well, right? With the Blade Master. Has like less cooldown to Blitz and Ring of Sinnoh. Really nice now. Like this was kind of a meme before, now it's like I think actually useful for also like for Blitz Warlords. This is insane for Blitz Warlords now. Bloodsworn Codex. Nerfed the freaking Briarthorn modifier, which is I think personally still too high. But at least they nerfed it, so that's good. Chosen Gaze reclassified as light armor, blah 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 blah. Increases bonus to force wave to rust 3. Crit damage mod to force wave to 25%, physical damage to 110. I think this is only good for leveling, right? Or maybe like for endgame, if you like don't play Shadow Ram or you don't play Octavius, then you might also want to get something like an overseer's prefix on those. That might be good. Patch out? Patch out? Yes, patch is actually out. Not even kidding, it's actually out. Happy Halloween patch, basically, more or less. The order in which I go through these patch notes is a mystery humanity hasn't solved yet. Yeah, me neither. Chosen Mask, more bonuses to Thermite Mons, okay, cool. Visage. Hellhound plus 3, fire damage modifier for flame touch and summon skeletons. No, summon Hellhound. Oh yeah, I mean, I like Hellhound buffs. Hellhound is like, I think, a bad pet, or like not the best pet anyway, so... Like compared to Briarthorn, right? Hellhound is pretty bad, so this is good. Coerced Wraith, add modifiers for Granado. That's the Lightning Granado one, right? Chosen Gaze not viable for Force Wave still because no 100% walk uptime. I mean, if you play SR or like SR set or Octavius, you don't have that either. So, but yeah, the other green helmet that you get in Homestead, right, from the Flash Warped guys, is probably still better anyway, right? And then there's also Warborn helmet. But then at least you play a set, yeah, that's true. Crimson Wild Scepter, this is the Drixie one, right? Which now also has modifiers for Ages of Men here. For Acid. That's interesting. Death's Watcher Pendant, updated modifiers for Jones Pact. This one is freaking busted for rituals, guys, I'm telling you. Like, it's +1 Necromancer, and it's like another 5% Fizz on the McDrogan's Pact modifier. Like, this is just busted. This is so good for ritualists. Dreek Sect, reduced health regen, I mean, okay, whatever. Flash Warped Archive, replace bonuses to summon Blind Fiend to +2 Ember's Claw. So, switching stuff from Blind Fiend to Hellhound, okay. Flash Warped Bulwark. Reduced health regen. Okay, and like, switch some stuff around for Battle of Dreek for health regen. Flash Warped Cask. Increase bonuses to Overload and Warcraft by +3. Sure. Flash Warped Codex. Increases Aether damage modifier for Cadence Tempest to 60. Fire to Aether for Flash Warped Codex. Oh, that's the one from Mammoth, right? Aether Cadence Tempest Codex. Okay, why not? 119.2 actually out? Yes, it is. Gaze Last's Mark reduced cold damage on Flame Touch to 18. Because Saboteur was too OP, I guess. I don't know. Or like rather using this one on an Infiltrator was maybe like too OP, right? Gargoyle's Gaze, increased acid and... No, it's on Flame Touch, right? Like what? This has to be Sabo nerf. Imagine nerfing Saboteur. Gargoyle's Gaze, increased acid and cold damage to ABB to blah blah and blah blah. Okay, I mean cool. Yeah, this was, I think, like a pretty weak helmet, so like buffing that's fine. Gaze of Angoliax, reduced cold damage modifier to Element to 60. That's like nerfing the one Element build that exists, right? Like, what? Isn't it like a squishy build anyway? Weird nerf in my opinion. Oh, Goddess Ring, reduced health regen, yikes. Grobus and Effigy, replace bonuses to PV with +2 to Claiming Wines. Increase Vitality damage modifier for Grasping Wines to 110 and bleed damage to 160 over 1. Good buff in my opinion. Grasping Wines is a pretty bad skill roll. And especially with this item, like you don't play this item if you actually like play Grasping Wines for endgame, so that's a good buff in my opinion. I don't know if it's enough. Might not be enough actually. Oop, Lasso, 13, thanks for the follow, welcome. Yeah, they nerfed Goddess Ring alongside all the other health regen stuff, right? They were like, yeah, let's just nerf everything that has health regen. So Goddess Ring has health regen, so it has to be nerfed, right? Global Stone Effigy. Increased crit damage modifier for Penalty to 36. Penalty buff, sure. Toxic Effigy with percent wit damage and reduced percent weapon damage to DE to 33%. Okay. I mean, so like a nerf for acid and a buff for vitality to exit on basically, I guess. I don't know. It's fine. I think this is a fine change. Wild Effigy replace bonuses for COF to +2 to wasting. Makes actually a lot of sense as well. Got Worm's Mark, increased speed damage modifier for Cadence. Yeah, that's one. I mean, this is like whatever. Like, you don't care about this change, whatever. Heart of Theory Marcel, reduced percent weapon damage modifier and 8 damage on the granted skill. That's like a spellbinder nerf to like Theoden builds. And I guess also like Aether Reapers maybe, or Aether Infiltrators. I'm not sure if I like that, because I feel like the builds using this one were like... They weren't like OP anyway. I don't know if this was necessary really. I feel like this is... I don't know. I mean, I can understand it in a way, but I personally disagree with this. Incendiary Cask, increased bonuses to Fast Strike and Flames of Finger for +3, makes sense. Because they want everything to have +3 now. Added more fire damage to Fast Strike and reduced crit damage modifier to 18%. I think this should be a buff on average at least, right? Like, this crit damage nerf shouldn't matter that much. This should be probably more important. So yeah, basically a buff, which I think is fine. Like, Fast Strike is not like that. I mean, it can be good damage, of course, but melee isn't like that good for damage. Range is good for damage, but range is also kind of squishy, I feel like, most of the time. There's not a single buff for any build in the patch notes. What? No, dude, they're like buffing so much. They're not buffing the meta builds, of course. Like, what are you talking about? Cadence Harvest, adding more last into Blade Arc and increases physical damage to 100 and bleed damage to blah blah blah. Okay, cool. Yeah, I think it's a good buff, like a decent buff. I mean, why not? 10% is like a lot though, what the hell? 10%? What? That's crazy. Carrion Skullbreaker, replace bonuses to ROK with +3 to Steel Resolve. And added modifiers to War Renewal. So this is for Fire Strike, many purifiers as well, basically. I mean, this might be interesting now. What is the actual modifier on this? I have to check. Correct's Burning Blade and remove the attack speed for cards. And they moved it over to Flame Touch, right? Or something like that, I think. Yeah. I already played the updated version on my recent Defiler, right? Stormblade, Raging Tempest to full spread, so like more stuff towards Stunjacks. More last steal on Stunjacks, seems fine. Burning Halberd, modifiers for IE. Cool. I like it. Current Cask replaces bonuses to Laceration +3. Blade Arc. I mean, I guess it makes sense for Dot. I don't know, maybe not. I don't know, I have no idea what this changed. Might be whatever. Celestial Halberd added Fizz to Blade Arc and modifiers to Spectral Binding. Wait, are they buffing the Blade Arc Death Knight even more? Like the physical Blade Arc Death Knight? Okay. I mean, to be honest, this is a very, very good like Solo Saffron build for like min-maxed endgame. It wasn't like that amazing, but still good. I mean, I don't know. I feel like this was probably unnecessary, but oh well. Reaping Halberd added modifiers for Devouring Swarm. Increased weapon damage to Bone Harvest. Okay, so another Ritualist buff on this one. This is a pretty strong weapon. Storm Halberd added modifiers for Addictive Flame. Oh, that's cool. Melee Promise Strike Elementalist gets a buff, dude. That's really nice. Cadence Badge. Cadence Badge. More Granado power. Of course, it's getting the Pierce to Lightning removed because Granado, I think, also would have the same treatment like Force Wave, which means it would have higher physical damage, but no Pierce damage anymore, which makes it like easier to convert the damage on it. Also, Cadence Tempest has like full conversion now on this. Sanctified Blade, yeah, basically better a Reckoning weapon now than before. Also more bonuses to Templar if you want to play Templar with us, but I mean, I guess Archon or Shipbreaker are better anyway. Kazakh Skull, Cadence Tempest, Fire CT, right? 50% crit damage is a lot though, right? That is a lot. Lagoth Axe Void Binding. Ages of Menhir over to Avenging Shield. I guess you can play this with the Void Soul set. Leaf Main Horn, DE bonuses. This is the Vitality one, right? Or which one is this? Leaf Main Horn. Yeah, that's the... oh yeah, the Acid one actually, never mind. Okay, this one has the bonuses now. So you have like a alternative to the global FG now, or what? And then there's the trophy which has Drain Essence stuff now, which is like good for Apostate. I like it, I like it. Frostblade removes crit damage from Shadow Strike. I don't know why they would nerf Locksmears, because like Locksmears is already like so hard to farm anyway. Like what? Oh well. Lucius Blade Arm added more stuff to Word of Renewal now instead, and removed Aether damage to Reckless Power. So what is this? Aether damage... it's like a buff to, say, Apostate as well. To... Mage Hunter? If you would ever play that. Oof. Your Shadow Strike sheet damage from Dunefiend Witch Hunter went from 172k to 368k. What? Wait, why did they buff Dunefiend? What? Yo, Zulaf Pokemon. The only weapon you didn't check when farming an AG. Hover all items except for leaf main items. How's it going? I mean, the patch is out, so that's pretty amazing. The marks are getting their Pierce to Physical and Pierce to Wit to Virus Smite removed, because also Virus Smite will have its Pierce damage removed and instead have higher, like, I think, Physical, maybe also like higher fire damage, which also makes it easier for conversion again, just like Force Wave and Granado. Mark of Necrothon has higher cold damage modifier to Cadence Tempest now. Seems good. Messenger's Repeater added modifiers for Weight of Shadow and reduced Pierce resistance reduction to Real Pain. This is like a Pierce ranged infiltrator weapon, I guess. Okay. Milton's Cask, blah blah blah. Yeah, more Brits and Old Guard on this, makes sense. Plus 3 to all the helmets, right? Mugara's Fangs, increases physical damage, okay, I mean, okay. I think this was really pretty strong, but I mean, okay. Murderous Cowl, increased bonuses to Blade Rift and Ring of Steel plus 3. Sure. Obsidian Bulwark reduced. Yeah, this was coming, right? Bulwark nerf because Catastor was too OP with us. Overseer's Eye, increased electrocute damage modifier for Stunjacks to 122. Pakla Skin, reduced health regen, because I guess you can in theory play Pakla on Avenger, but then you wouldn't have permanent Warcry, so why buff? I mean, why nerf this? I don't know, dude. Oh well. Pakla's Visage. Also, they've added this, right? It converts lightning to wit to surgery. So, like, you can't play it with Avenger anyway if you have this. Like, why nerf the health regen then? What the hell? I don't get it. Also, remove the health, like, reduce health regen here. Because half a gen with Siphon Souls and PB was too OP, Kappa. I don't know, like these needed to not be nerfed, I feel like. It's unnecessary on these. Wind Devil survives 0 seconds. Codex of Eternal Storms? No, Codex of Eternal Storms makes them permanent. I think. It just makes them permanent. Like, it's literally Eternal Storms now. You just did a test run on your Archon as R70, it was fun before, now it's even better. Nice, nice. When you cast Wind Devil, it summons 4 at once. Oh yeah, the Cyclone set? Yeah. Cyclone has like 4 at once. Now you press the button once, and then you chill. Like, Wind Devil overall has insane quality of life in this patch. Like, they're quicker, they snapshot to your character quicker, and they have like longer duration, better uptime, blah blah blah. You have lots of items that have like summon burst modifiers, or even like make them permanent. So yeah, it's crazy. Alright, Pitmaster's Axe, increased weapon damage modifier for... Yeah, this was a bad item, so yeah, buffing this is fine, of course. Whatever buff this is, if this is enough, I don't know, probably not, but it's better than before. So like, better for leveling at least. Pew Square's Tail, right? Increased bonuses to the Nidalas Hidden Hand and vulnerability +3. Blah blah blah. Yep, I mean, it makes sense. This is an active 1 item, which means it's like mostly used for leveling only. But it's getting a buff, so it might be maybe worth looking into for a later endgame as well now. Putrid Necklace added crit damage modifier for IE, increased crit damage modifier to 50%. Okay, I think this was actually like a decent item, like enabling many wonky builds, like acid builds. And it's getting more crit damage, so I mean, yeah, why not? Ragathar's Horn. This one needs something else. This item is like weird and it needs something else. I feel like this is like an offhand with like it's a Ring of Steel offhand, right? Like how and why would you play that? It's weird. Rift Scourge Slicer added 45% cold to acid, increased acid Shadow Strike modifier. This is gonna be insane for like acid Shadow Strike now. I feel like it's way better than before. I mean, it already was good, right? But it's like even better now. Acid laser buff, yeah, pretty much. This was also used for Aether Ray, for acid Aether Ray, right? Rift Claw Slicer. This is great for Fire Oppressor, like basically the build we just doctored earlier, right? Great for Fire, our Reckoning Oppressor, for example. Really nice. Wild Ratus' Tome, replace bonuses to Rune of Ground with plus the Order of Censure. Okay, so this is shifting it just for support Mage Hunter, okay. And it's nerfing the TSS cooldown a bit, which I guess is fair. This is like a really good TSS item anyway. And it still will be. Runner Proxy's Sting, increased weapon damage modifier for Ages of Menhir and Drix Elan to blah blah blah.
We speak
so buff here, right? I mean, it makes sense. I think this is fine. This was on one hand build enabling for these skills, and on the other hand like not quite strong enough, I feel like, so buffing this is fine. Zergrin, thanks for the follow, Workman. Runner Crest, replace physical damage to surgery with 10% weapon damage to it. Sure, should be a buff, I think, as well. Relic Mark added health gen to Promise Strike. I mean, Lusty rather. That's also really nice for Rotgeist. Speaking of Rotgeist, right? Salazar's Blade, reduced effectiveness of granted pets resistance reduction. Yeah, this was needed. This pet was pretty OP. Like the RR of the pet was pretty OP. Sandclown Slicer, increased bonus physical damage, blah blah blah, blah to Blade Arc, blah blah, and Lusty to Blade Arc, okay. I still feel like Blade Arc overall suffers from being fine for two-handers, but like too weak on one-handers. So this is a step in the right direction, but I feel like the skill itself should maybe have like some of its damage shifted from two-hand to one-hand, which would mean, for example, reducing the weapon damage on it, but rather increasing the flat damage of the skill itself. You don't ever dual-wield Blade Arc, do you? No, never. You only one-hand and shield or two-hand. I mean, no. You just play Kaliska's Shield, right? I mean, if you play Kaliska's Shield and this, right? Those two items together have 16% lifesteal. That's insane, right? That is insane. Sandclaw and Kaliska's is 16% lifesteal. Like, that is insane. But damage is not the best. Scarab Shell, fixed an issue where the Blade Spirit modifiers when applying to all of the Blade Spirit's damage sources. So you're saying that the good build already got even like got buffed now, or what? Like the one good trickster got even more damage now. All right, bludgeon, blood boil with laceration. Wait, why laceration? Laceration doesn't make any sense on a bleed-focused blade arc weapon. Oh well. I don't think this makes any sense really. Sigarius' Sacred Blade, replace bonuses for Motor Trap with plus 2 Maelstrom. That should be good actually. This is a good change, I think. Corruptor, more chaos damage to Cadence, and the added modifiers for Field Command, which are played like already on my Witchblade as well. On the Solar 7 Witchblade is already used this, including the modifier, right? So this is, yeah, I mean, I can basically tell you this is good for leveling and also for endgame. Until you get the conversion glass for Cadence, I think then you just play the glass and you don't need this anymore. But until that point, this is a good item. Shapeless Heart, added physical damage to Flame Touched. Sure. Sluffstar's Crust, increased weapon damage to Penetti. Sure, nice buff here. Spectral Arbalest, increased, added modifiers for Spectral Binding. Spectral Arbalest. Oh yeah, that's the Phantasmal Blades Vitality one, right? Oh, that's gonna be strong. Spectral Crown, more bonuses to raise skeletons, sure. Spectral Longsword, replaced Pierce damage with Pierce to Cold Conversion. Updated modifiers for Shadow Strike. Like, this might be just better than Locksmears now for Shadow Strike, I don't know. Locksmear is getting nerfed and this one getting buffed. What are the modifiers for Shadow Strike? Do I have one? I mean, wait, we can just check the... Unless he already removed them, right? No, that's still there. Skill modifiers somewhere here. Where was it? There it is, right? And now we can search for Spectral Long? No. Shadow Strike? No? What? Did they not add it here? It's bad, man. Yeah, I don't really have the time to check it out right now, though. Sorry, guys. Spectral Arbalest, I mean? Oh, for Spectral Arbalest, I mean? That's actually Spectral Binding, then. Right. I'll just give the link here. I'll just give you the link. There was Spectral Longsword. Oh yeah, there it is actually. And just Fist to Cold and Flat Cold Shadow Strike. I mean, the Fist to Cold is also still not bad because it allows you to just like use 2 heavy physical damage weapons like the item itself. That could be interesting for building Shadow Strike actually. Cold Shadow Strike. Okay, what else do we have? Spectral War Shield. Higher retail to attack to Renaissance, okay. Steward's Halberd, increased physical damage to 75 and replaced bonuses to Cadence with +4 to Tectonic Shift. Going with the theme, I guess, more than with actual Bible. I mean, maybe this is actually Bible, I don't know. Turnox's Aether Tome, added modifiers for Reap Spirit, interesting. More Rip Spirit support is nice. I mean, there is not a lot of Rip Spirit support in the game anyway right now, I feel like, so that is cool. Troll Bone Crusher, more bleed to savagery, blah blah blah. Delighting to Fizz modifier is great as well. Really nice for like savagery leveling. And potentially also endgame. Yo, Plasma Strike, how are you? Welcome and welcome. Any changes that threw a wrench in anything yet so far? I mean, I feel like some of the health regen nerfs are... I mean, I can understand him nerfing health regen in general or like for specific builds, but I feel like some other health regen nerfs that, I don't know, like Goddess Ring nerf, the Pack La Visage nerf, those are like weird. I feel like these are not necessary. But yeah. Maybe he knows more than we do. Arcane Weaver removed elemental damage to Fire Strike. What? Fire Strike 2 OP on this, I guess? I don't know. I mean, this one has passed through, right? So that's pretty good for Fire Strike. This was a really, really good Fire Strike weapon, but still, like, removing those? I don't know why though. Why though? By Launcher, added modifiers for Battle Dreeg. That's the two-handed Acid Dervish item before, now also available for Witch Hunters, I guess. Like better for Witch Hunters, sure. Ugnenborg Bolt Throw, that's the Pierce weapon you can also use instead of Valdun's weapon, right? For Tactician, for example. I think that's a nice weapon, really. Physical to Bleed makes sense because you want to play Pierce anyway. Storm Spread modifiers and more Bleed to Cadence. I mean, yeah, this is fine. I think this is a good change. Chill Strife nerf, right? No more cold damage on Veil of Shadow, but still has the RR on Veil of Shadow. And has modifiers to Chosen Sky Shard, making it a little bit more of a caster item. But if you want to play cold TSS, don't you want to like play the Spectral Bludgeon from Alcoven Undercity anyway? I mean, this is maybe there to basically enable us for dual wielding with a Spellbreaker, right? Like you play one Bludgeon and one Chill Strike for dual wield Spellbreaker. For Chosen Sky Shard, for cold TSS, right? I mean, I can see it for that, maybe. Yo, Xalek, welcome on. You tried the Leviathan 200, no weapon pool skills seem to be consistent animation times. Talking about Markovian specifically. Yeah, I think Markovian is like fine to play on 200 now. Like, Markovian was something you always wanted to not play on 200 because the animation was so bad. Now it's probably fine. Like, should be fine. Flame Strife, added modifiers for Cocktail. Oh, interesting. Another item to add to the list of OP leveling items for Cocktail. Like Zalthuzalans and this should be even stronger than before. Reduced fire damage to Ignite Fire though. What? I don't know. Maybe it was too. I don't. What? I don't know. I don't think this was necessary. Because there was Warp Fire instead anyway, right? I guess like a triple rare was too strong with us, I don't know. Flamethrower, Fist of Fire to Guardians of Hyperion, makes sense, sure, good buff. Replace physical resistance reduction modifier with 50 fire damage to it, sure, makes sense as well. Increase fire damage modifier Granado to 440. This should be really nice on like a Granado Empyrean Shipbreaker now, for sure. Ugnenborg Howler, that's like the one-handed weapon with like Siphon Soul stuff. I don't think this is gonna make this viable really, but oh well. I mean, better to buff it than doing nothing, right? Spark Thrower, added modifiers for Stormbox, right? So if you're playing Vindicator, you have more power with us now than before, which is, I think, good. Because Druid was, at least on hardcore, the superior choice to Vindicator anyway. And now Vindicator is stronger, so that makes sense. Storm Strife, lightning damage modifier for Sunjax, sure, nice. Vegasaur's Heart, replace Pierce to Fire with 10% Fist to Fire and increase Pierce Snell to Fire to Kinetic Burst to 100. Okay, so instead of Global Pierce to Fire, which was good on any Demolitionist, especially for like say Canister Bomb, right? You now have full Pierce to Fire if you're playing a Saboteur, right? Or like a Nightblade. So if you want to play the Granado stuff or the, well, Canister Bomb stuff, then you want to play Saboteur with us now. However, the Pierce on Granado itself got like removed anyway, so like you don't need this for Granado, right? You still can just play this for like a Granado shield breaker, no problem, right? And you get the fist to fire on top globally, which helps for, I don't know, like some specific things, but not that many things I feel like. But it makes sense because like most of these items have like 10% fist to something. Viper Mirage, that's the bleed, PB and Devouring Swarm item, which was kind of a meme, so adding more bleed and bleed damage to both of these abilities makes sense. Relics Crusher, increased bonuses, physical damage bonuses to 275, okay, just the base damage. And reduced health regen, okay. I mean, this is also actually one of the like cases where I can understand him nerfing health regen, because yeah, this was like really strong for health regen. This is basically like what you played before Avenger set on water, if you played like physical water, right? So that's been nice. Or like this is understandable that this gets more shifted towards damage and less around health regen, because I mean if they want to nerf health regen, then this is one of those nerfs where I say, okay, this makes sense, right? Because it was like really strong. Increased drop rate of Ugdom Blooms from Rotting Stumps and Ugdom Golems for reader's time. Yes, it finally is in the actual game, not only if you're only playing AOM, but also if you're playing Forgotten Gods, right? Warden's Judgment, increased Aether damage to IE. Okay, so basically making Aether pets for like a spell warner, for example, stronger than before. That's cool. Aether pets aren't really like strong, like or P at all, like so buffing them is fine. When you go Barb, replaced health and bonuses to the last hidden hand with % acid damage for and plus 3 spectral binding. I mean, this one was a garbage item before, so it has more stuff now, and it has juicy stuff for like acid reapers, I guess. So maybe you want to play one of these to go with Death Guard set, right? Like Death Guard set and like one Winneego Barber, like insane affixes. Might be good now. Not sure. Yo, Trash Can. Welcome. More blooms for the Trash Can and myself and everybody else. Winneego Claw. Marcoin advantage bonuses, bleed damage modifier for Marcoin's advantage. I don't know. Maybe okay if you get like a crazy one, otherwise it's probably still garbage. Winneego Eye, penalties, sure. More penalty buffs seem good. Winneego Glare, reduce physical damage modifier for Shattering Smash to 140. Makes sense, it was actually pretty OP. Like Shattering Smash for this medal was ridiculously strong. Yet the Horn added crit damage modifier for Stormbox, makes sense, sure. I feel like Vindicator needs buffs, so this is fine. Zeria's Pendant, removed attack speed for pets, thank you. Reduced Brothorn OPness to 25%, thank you. This was busted as fuck, so yeah, it's fine. So Thuzalan's Archive, reduced burn damage modifier for Virus Might. I mean, okay, fair, that's fair. Epic, oh, we're only at Epic now? What the fuck? Oh my god. Amnesty set, that's like Perdition set, right? More... Yeah, basically this is better for Retaliation, added Retaliation now, right, than before, so that's nice. Amulet of the Eye, added Fist to Elemental, because it's like an Elemental Amulet, right, makes sense. Body's Regalia, increased bleed damage on the proc, makes sense. It's like a mediocre filler set you can use early game, but then like you wanna switch out of this if possible later, right? So buffing this is fine. Blaze here is actually a good set. The Signet gets attack speed, the Girdle gets flat fire instead of flat chaos, and the set itself has 24 fire just like that, but reduced damage and escape rock. So overall this seems like a small nerf made for casters, but like a buff for melee characters, which is fine because fire melee sucks and fire caster is pretty strong. So these are fine, these changes. Caledros defense, increased damage, blah blah blah. This is like the blue Caledros set, which is like a meme anyway, I think. So making this better is fine, I guess. Crypt of Lost Souls. Getting buffed? I mean, sure. Dagger set getting buffed? Sure. Lots of health actually. Yeah, the set was very low on health, I feel like. So this one getting lots of health is pretty nice. Bloom is rising, yep. No matter how much they increase bloom rates, I will always get cucked by bad RNGs. Bad bloom RNG, I mean. Dawn shield set, more lightning retail on this, I mean, sure. Seems fine to me. Desecrator Covenant set, add attack speed for pets, blah 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 blah. I guess as long as it's not like one of those OP Brownthorn pet builds, I feel like buffing pets is also fine actually. Like buffing meme pet builds is totally fine. I mean there's also blue sets, so like how strong can it really be, right? Without skill modifiers. Dread's Chill Grasp is pretty good though, so this one got nerfed a bit, which is fine. Dread Walker set. Getting buffed, yeah, that's the Vitality Renaissance set, right? The blue one. So that's good as well. Good to buff this. Essence of Burnout, blah blah blah. I mean, yeah, makes sense. Oh, this is fine, right? Tester Blaze buff, sure. Luminary. More attack speed, remove Pierce Elemental, increase Pierce Elemental here. Added Pierce Elemental. I think they're just like switching around the conversion. But overall it's a buff, right? Mirrodon, buff here, buff there, right? So basically blue items are getting buffed because blue items are in general well, rather trash compared to green and legendary, so like buffing them is probably fine. There were some specific ones like some gloves that were pretty good though, so those were either untouched or nerfed, like for example quick draw gloves might get their pierce damage reduced. But on the other hand you get +3 here now, so that's like more attack speed and pierce damage on the other hand, so how bad can it really be? Seems good. Sharpshooter was actually a pretty good set as well, which gets nerfed apparently a bit. Oh yeah, Sharpshooter is getting nerfed, what the... Oh well. Stonefather buffs, sure. Eastern is also getting reduced because Eastern is pretty strong, and yeah. Rest in peace some of the OA that it has. I mean, it still has good OA, right? It's just not as much as before. Blah, blah. Mage Lord removed 8 damage here, but added it to the set so that you... Basically the set is the same, more or less the same. It's just using one single ring is worse than before. New patches here? Yes, it just came out like half an hour ago, or like an hour ago. Stormstar weapon set. I played this one on the Trickster, right? What can I say about this? It's still squishy. It's better than before, yes, but it's still like very squishy and probably still not really good. I mean, it's better than before, but it's not like actually good. Unseeing Eye, that's like Blind Assassin, right? Getting another nerf. Oh well, I mean, it might be still strong. I don't know about this nerf. Also, Vilescorn Bracer, right? That is the Vitality and Asset Gloves, getting their attack speed and casting speed reduced. Okay. Yeah, like gloves are like blue gloves were pretty strong, so like they're getting nerfed a bit here and there. Okay, legendaries, right? Stuff. Yeah, retail getting even nerfed more on Burnout Reforged. They really don't want you to play the conversion here. Blade Twister shifted around resistances, right? Chill Hard reduced casting speed, sure. Does like an holding up our nerf basically. String Griff of Grant, reduced attack speed, sure. Cinecore, more Burnout Chikunalo, sure. It's fine. Cinet Touch. Oh yeah, Cinet Touch is getting a big buff. Especially for builds like Archon, right? Like Cyclone Archon is getting a big buff this patch. So this one has attack speed now, right? Up to 15%. Really good for lightning builds, really, really nice. Less OA, but I mean most builds can compensate that. And also even more damage to our reckoning. So yeah, Cyclone Archons, big buff here, right? Send a touch buff. Eternal Storms has... Right, that's the mythical one, right? Let's just talk about the mythical one then, this one is whatever. All conduits have more health. Big buff as well actually for all the conduits. And then some of them have like some of their, well, rather niche modifiers buffed as well. Here and there and there and here, right? Yeah, lots of buffs here and there basically. We can check this out like next stream maybe more in detail, but like not right now. Crystallum, really good for Lightning Archon actually now. The mythical especially has like 10% multiplicative damage to ethereals now as well, pretty nice. Decree of Mammoth, vitality damage to Storm Totem, and more lifesteal on Ignifier, and more conversion for Ignifier, which you didn't even need honestly already. Just Blind Assassin went to the dumpster. Yeah, so what vitality gloves are left? No gloves at all? No, you have Void Ray Talons still. They have attack speed and hit damage. Void Ray Talons are good for that still, I think. What else is here? Doombringer. More damage, sure. Eldritch Gaze, increased Chaos damage modifier for Blade Arc, sure. I mean, Chaos Blade Arc wasn't like OP anyway, so this is totally fine. Appearance Mercy, that's the Our Reckoning lightning weapon as well, so like another buff basically to, well, Cyclone, right? Nice Cyclone buff here. Exterminus gets its RR reduced, which is a nerf to Dark Blaze Pyromancer and like Fire Strike characters as well. I don't know. I feel like this would have been nice if they compensated this with like maybe some defensive stats on the pistol, like maybe some flat health or something like that, right? Like some more flat health if it already has flat health. Because Dark Blaze Pyro, yes, it's good damage, it was also like really squishy, so I don't know. I feel like this would be fine if it has like some defensive compensation buff. Thera's Cube is huge now. This one is huge for Ignifier now because it has the full lightning to cold conversion now on itself. So you don't need to use Chill Out anymore to convert the lightning to cold on this. So yeah, you just play this now actually. And also Cold Ignifier got a buff as well. And also Away and Health got increased. So yeah, this is a huge buff now. This should be really good for Ignifier and Penalties now, for Cold, Penalty and Ignifier. Gate to Many Worlds, this is the pet offhand, which with the like unique pet skill, right, which doesn't even look like a pet. Which gets its granted skill buffed, which is nice. I really like this item, but it's kind of niche. Probably like a pet druid is what you want to play with us. Gaze of Empyrean, more DA, sure, whatever. Gator's Guard. What is this even? It's a chest, right? Is it gonna be viable now? I don't think this is what it needs. Gator's Pulverizer, add a +2 to Blade Spirit and modifiers for Blade Spirit. This is a two-handed crossbow, right? Which has like Pierce Grenado support. Gut Smasher and Guardians of Death's Gate actually first. This one is isn't this like... Oh yeah, this is the other Vitality 200 that you can also use for, I think... Wait, is it the pet one or the other one? Oh, it's the pet one, okay. Yeah, I mean, that does change, doesn't really matter that much. I mean, it's good for streamlining, I think. But it's like basically no change. Like, you won't feel this change. Gut Smasher increased percent vitality, weapon damage to Blade Arc and Our Reckoning. Okay. The Our Reckoning one part is, I think, good. The Blade Arc one part was already strong on this though, right? So this is even stronger now, interesting. Gradient's Enforcer increased bonuses to training rounds, blah blah blah. Really good actually for dual-wield Infiltrator, right? If you want to play a dual-wield Nightblade with ranged weapons, this is really good now, I think. Like +1 all skills to Nightblade, right? That's insane. Hell Scourge It's like a weird fire offhand with like fire sigil of consumption stuff. So yeah, this one needs a buff. This might not be enough, but maybe it's good for fire sigil now, I don't know. Horns of Korvac added 25 elemental damage. Yes, another buff for like, well, elemental savagery builds and also Shadow Strike builds, so something like Infiltrator could work with those, right? Ranged downblades are a thing? Not really, except for I feel like this weapon and like one or two other weapons maybe. But yeah, it's pretty good with this. Harion's Boulevard increased elemental damage to 86. I mean, this was a meme item. I mean, I made a build around this already actually, but it's kind of a meme item. So yeah, getting more damage is good. Ice Score and Talons removes crit damage. I mean, okay, I will, I guess. They were like really strong for a very long time, so I'm not sure if they were like that OP still right now, but they're gonna be fine still, I guess. Inashka's Corrupted Hand, bonus to Hellfire Mine with +3 to Spectral Wrath. Okay, makes sense. Coven Worm. Replace percent lightning damage with percent bleed damage. This is the physical Promise Strike weapon, so yeah, there's no need for this to have lightning damage. It rather should have bleeding damage, but because Promise Strike actually also deals bleeding damage, so this makes total sense, like complete sense here. Life Giver Signet, increased health regen effects, no, healing effects by 10%. I mean, yeah, thematic change makes sense. Light's Oath. Okay. Same thing there. Mad Queen's Claw added +3 to Whirling Death, Monocore's Infusion. That's a nice buff for, what is it, like Elemental Tactician, Cadence Tactician, right? I think this is actually not the... I think the build, like, dual-wield Elemental Tactician with Elemental Cadence is not actually bad, like it's actually good now. Or like, it should be good now. Mark of Urzuin, increased bonuses to AAR, +3 to Heart of Wrath. Chaos damage modifier for Granada, blah blah blah, buff, yeah, I mean, Chaos Granada is not good anyway, so buffing it is good. I mean, it might be good now. Also more Chaos damage to Judgment. CDR reduction? Oh yeah, they're like... They're reducing some cooldown reduction to Judgment because of some specific paladins especially. Being very strong with Judgment and other burn and aura and kind of store skills, so this is like being nerfed because of those kind of paladins, I think. Benhirion, healing effect here as well, okay. Misery, reduced acid damage to 14, increased acid damage modifier of Blood Dreig. So this will make it like worse for dervishes and better for witch hunters. However, I feel like this shouldn't support Witch Hunter. Like, Witch Hunter should have other items, and this should be like a item for Dervish, Archon, and maybe Trickster. But like the Grasping Wine stuff is so weird in a way. I don't know. I mean, I can see what they're trying to do, but I feel like this is too generic. I am kind of disappointed with this change. It's too generic for me. Aether Reach added finally some damage back to Aether Ray, right? Aether Ray was a little bit over nerfed and it got some damage back, so that's good. Mythical Agony, that's what you use for, well, Acid, Retaliation, Eye of Reckoning, right? And that was not the best build, so this is getting a buff, makes sense. Idleness Vanity, this is a really good offhand, right? That's a really good offhand, and it's getting a buff for Oathkeeper. I mean, it was better for Sork, so making it better for the Oathkeeper part does make sense in a way, but like not nerfing it in any other way is interesting. Another Spellblade, increased fire damage modifier to our Reckoning and Fast Strike, makes sense. Makes sense. Both of those were kind of not the best, so yeah, makes sense. Andros's Amplifier added 100% physical to fire to Mortar Trap. Okay, that's like another item that has Fist to Fire to Mortar Trap now, so that's interesting alternative to whatever you had before, right? Arcane Harmony Leggings added 50% fire, I mean trap and petrify resistances. Sure. I like it. I like this to this, because this is kind of a, how do you say it, like, supportive pair of pants. So that's good. Good change. Death Guard gets full conversion cold to Asana with Rift Scourge Slicer. Yep, that is true. It's pretty good. Pretty good for, like, well, Reapers or Witch Hunters. I mean, Reapers more likely, right? Because of Soul Harvest as well. Yeah, Reapers are gonna be sick with that. But yeah, that card is still kind of squished, right? Maybe not as squishy anymore as it used to be. I've not played it in a long time. Arcane Electrolytes increased resistance reduction and skip rock to 15%. This is very nice because I feel like this is a nice electrocute caster pistol, but you still never use it because there are just other alternatives that are way better, and this does make it more competitive. Nice. Arcane Fridges, higher radius to canister bomb. I mean, this is what, cold canister bomb? So, I mean, sure, buff it. Arcane Sigillus, increased percent weapon damage modifier to penalties, sure. Good in my opinion. Out of Order, increased retail to Ages of Mania and Drain Essence again, okay. So this one gets... Retail is getting some love back, I guess. Beacon of Winter's Veil, increased cold damage modifier to Vader Shell to 110. That's the... This is like one-handed cold mace which has like the cold swirling snowflake around you, right? This was a cool item back in the vanilla, but like ever since AOM I feel like this was kind of banned. Or like it's not banned, but other things are just better. So this one getting a buff is cool. This is also really nice for a Frostburn build, I think. Yo, Toma, welcome on. Belgothian Sigil, reduced pierce damage to 8. Sure. Veronoth's Reforged, yeah, same thing with the mythical one that happened to the non-mythical one as well. They don't want this to be as strong for retail, like be the lazy choice for conversion for retail. You should be either just not use conversion for retail or use other slots instead. Black Scourge. Increase the weight to 70 because I think you need to actually kill for the proc. This is still such a weird weapon, right? This is a pet scepter, but it requires you, the player, to kill to spawn the pets. So it's kind of like a hybrid thing, and hybrid builds are just generally bad in this game, right? So, Blazeborn Mantle, increased retail, sure. Blood of Gothorn, added +3 to Demon Fire, increased damage on the grounded skull, sure. That's nice. I really like this Blood Orb a lot. So yeah, any buff to this is cool. Blood Sigil of Gothorn, removed Pierce to count Savara Smite because this one doesn't have any Pierce damage anymore, makes sense. Blood Song, increased bleed modifier for Blade Arc, blah blah blah, okay, sure. More bleed damage increase for... I mean, this is cool because bleed overall might not necessarily need a buff, but Blood Song is a melee weapon that requires you to attack in melee to apply your bleed damage, so that's a very high risk. And high risk should have higher damage as well, right? So that's what they're doing here, makes sense. Primordial Rage, Fizzras. Okay, nice buff for these. Bramble Vine, increased acid damage modifier grasping vines and retaliation damage added to attack. Okay. That's like a buff to the one retaliation grasping vines arc that I made like some months or years ago, actually, even by now. So, fine. Good buff. Brutalux. Bleed damage modifier presence of virtue. Okay, I mean, whatever. What is this item even? It's like some weird pierce axe, right? Best change. Hourglass Devotion proc now has second sound feedback. Oh, interesting. Pretend this is 1192. Oh yeah, this is getting buffs like left and right, basically, this kind of build, for sure, yeah. But don't be overconfident and die to Kaiman like Ground Zero did with that one, right? I don't know how you managed to die to Kaiman, dude. Oh well. Butcher of Burwich. This is another bleeding axe that could be interesting now, maybe. I don't know. Some weird applications though, like what is it? Bleed to Virus Might? I mean, Virus Might does have bleeding damage, right? So. Celestial Stone of Halakor. Trap Rust, Freeze Rust, reduced crit damage modifier for Mortar Trap. I'm also using this on Druid, right, for Storm Totems, and this is just a straight up buff to that build. Trading Grip of Hagrad, attack speed to 200%. Okay, makes sense. This was kind of on the low end compared to other class, so that makes sense. Sinner Scorn. Burn damage reduction to Judgment. Yeah, this is like probably because of also the Paladin builds that have been posted in the forums in the last couple of months. Eternal Stones, right, the mythical one, has minus 1% cooldown modifier to it, which means they will literally be spammable and permanent. So literal Eternal Storms here. Pretty cool. Really cool, right? If you wanna be lazy with Wind Devils, you play this now. Really nice. Codex of Violent Rifts. Violent Rifts. Increased crit damage and to 50%, cast speed, blah blah blah. This is the Chaos Vitality Judgment thing, right? Added 45 fire to Chaos. Interesting. And what did okay. Yeah, this might be interesting for like some casters. I think I was playing, was it this one or something else, on the like super old Vitality Doombolt Sentinel that I made. Might have been this one, I don't even remember. Combustion Band is really good on this patch. Has percent physical damage, higher attack speed, flat fire. It's reducing physical, fire, and chaos resistance now. So you can even play this on physical builds for physical RR, as well as percent physical damage. This ring might be a little bit too strong on this patch, I'm not sure, but it's really good right now. Either way, enjoy this ring right now on this patch, as long as it's this strong. It might get nerfed next patch, I don't know. I don't know. This might be like really strong. It probably won't get nerfed actually, but I feel like it's really strong for... Like, it was already okay before, I don't know. Consumption of Agravix. More damage to Ignafar and more Retaliation. Oh, this is the Retail Ignafar item, right? Or Retail Killers. It's a weird item. But yeah, buffing this is fine, of course. Mythical Crescent Moon, increased weapon damage modifier for Granado. Like a buff to my cold Granado Saboteur, basically. And also more damage on Rune of Grad, which is nice for, well, infiltrators as well, if you want to play that. Crest of Winter Fortitude added 4% attack speed. I was playing this on the cold Blitzblade Master, right? It's okay on that build, I would say. Not super amazing, but okay. Certainly better than before. Crimson Spike, attack speed 20%, Chaos to Wit. I feel like this is really, really good on like certain Conjurers / Cabbalists now, like even better than before. Crystallum, really nice for Archons, right? Really nice for the Ascension bonuses. Added modifiers for Surgery and Ascension, really, really nice. Dual wield like Archon can be made with this one, I would say. Dawn Shard Gaze, more health on this, sure. Dawn Shard Grip, more flat elemental on this. Added Poison Rats. And reduced damage on Guardians. Overall, I think this is fine. The Guardian part might have been too strong, I agree. Elemental stuff here is nice, because, I mean, there aren't really like any proper elemental glass for dual, like for melee anyway, really. So this is nice. Dawn Shard Hauberk, increased lightning damage to 11 to 25. Sure. Health here, sure. Death Omen. More wit damage here, increased wit damage to execution, sure. Death's Reach. That's the Reckoning one, for Vitality Reckoning, so added 100% fist of it. It's really, really nice buff here, really, really nice buff to this. Finally, Vitality of Reckoning is also a viable build, I feel like. Before that, Vit was one of the, well, worst ones compared to other damage types for our Reckoning. But now this should be, like, up there as well. Like, it's fine now. Also, this one, from on crit to chance on attack, is always better as well. Death Stealer, side armor, fills damage to Reaping Strike and Smite. Really nice for, well, what is this? Oppressor, slash, Tactician. No, not Tactician, Death Knight, slash Warlord, right? Yo, Petrock, welcome back. I'm the patch hit, so we're reading the patch notes. Decree of the Circle of the Five added 130% physical damage modifier for IEE and increased percent weapon damage in the grounded skill. I should actually like check out my battle mage that uses this one. It's probably better on Templar anyway though, but yeah, interesting. Nice buff here. Devil's Cage, Hauberk, blah blah, more fist damage here, whatever. Advanced Shoulder Guard, added the A, added health. I mean, nice, sure. This is kind of like never used anyway, so like adding this is, like buffing this is good. Doombringer, added lightning damage, updated blah 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 blah, okay. I mean, yeah, I don't even know what this is, so making this better than before is good, I guess. Dracarys, Fizzrest of Flame Touched. That's a very nice demo actually, like demo item actually. It's also for pets, so of course pet items get Fizzrest, right? What else would there be for pets? But you can also play this on like a caster, because I think this weapon has like insane percent fire damage. So Fizzrest is also good for casters, of course. Dread Armor of Azargor, increased away, removed. All retaliation damage and corrected Vitality Retaliation to Fizz Retaliation. Yeah, okay, this is well, just like some bug fixes mostly, basically. Dread Mask of Gorgoth, this is the Lightning Mortar Trap item, right? More DA, +4 to Mortar Trap, more health, more damage. Pretty big buff to Lightning Mortar Trap, I would say. Like any Lightning Mortar Trap. Dread Chill Mark. Yeah, buffs to Bone Harvest and Necrotic Edge, so like Cold Reaper buff, nice. Dread Scorcher, Aether modifier for Flame Touch to 44, added 4% Fizzrust. This is actually a really nice buff for Aether Range Definers / Purifier, it's pretty nice. Pet Aether. Trigger and Noah reduced cooldown modifier for Judgment to -1.8. Nerfing does? Interesting. Okay, oh well. Sage. Mythical Earth Splitter buff. You can do like physical Blade Master with this, I think. Pretty decent build. Edge of Death. What is that even? Bleed stuff. Okay, whatever, who cares, right? Imperium's Mercy. This is the Of Reckoning one, right? That we also talked about earlier, right? Evoker of Ergoloth. This is very interesting for also Vindicators, right? This is a Lightning Savagery Vindicator item, which now has 100% pass through for Storm Spread only. I really like this change, really nice, really nice, really nice. This Vindicator build is a lot stronger than before now, really nice. Essence of the Grim Dawn, +3 Divine Mandate. For Fire Aether Ray Templars, I guess? Executioner's Judgment, increased cold damage modifier for Cadence. This is like a buff to, well, obviously Cold Cadence Blade Masters. Exonerator is a Lightning Cadence ranged weapon, right? So yeah, that's a pretty nice buff for, I guess, Tacticians and Tacticians, mostly. Exterminus, Fire, Chaos, RR, and the Skip Rock reduced. That's the same as the non-mythical one, right? Fiend Master, Rainmount, reduced Chaos damage for pets. Okay, apparently, I mean, Chaos pets were pretty strong. The legendary ones at least are really strong, so I guess this is fair. Final Stop, increased more health. It's like a weird shield that like nobody uses anyway, right? Flames of Wrath. This is an amulet that had lots of RR to Guardians of Appearance or Censure. So it's insane on Paladins, and it's getting turned down a bit, which is understandable. Frost Red Cuirass. More health in the A, makes sense. I mean, why not, right? Taking this buff for Cold Knightlets is fine, I think, right now. Gauntlet of Ignafar. Reduced damage on Ignafar by 260. Increased burn to Granado. Removes Pierce to Fire to Granado, which, yeah, don't need it because it doesn't have any Pierce anymore. This is fine, and I think this is also fine actually because Ignafar is getting buffs otherwhere, like in other spots instead, and Fire is really good anyway. Gavin of Ravenous Souls is like a, what is this? Physical virus might something thing, right? Getting buffs makes sense, sure, why not? Good Americanum has elemental Ignafar damage now actually, interesting. Yeah, this might be really interesting actually now, this patch. They decided to leave the health regen on Mythical Regal Eleanor. Yeah, why didn't they nerf that one as well, right? Like, all health regen is OP, I thought. Calfat Zothglyph, increase lightning damage and the A. Okay, buff on this. Yeah, I mean, makes sense, why not? Storm Witch has healing effect increase. I mean, okay, whatever. Grass of the Dead, cold damage modifier to Blade Spirits, sure. I think you didn't even play this one on the best build, right? That were like on the best cold Blade Spirit build, you didn't play this, I think? I don't know. Maybe you did. Blade Spirits can be really strong, right? Unchained Might. Yeah, better for physical Aura of Conviction builds. So like Tacticians as well, for example. Really nice. Grave Touch added lightning to cold. That's a shield, right? This might be interesting. Maybe. For like cold hour reckoning maybe, but you just play dual-wield chill strives anyway, right? Chill heart anyway. I don't know. This shield looks so cool, right? The Grave Touch, but it's such like it's in such a weird spot. I don't know. Garden of Death's Gates. That's the well, pet item, right? Which has now modifiers to field command. So this is like basically trying to be an item for pet Death Knights, right? Interesting. Mythical Gut Ripper, increased bleed damage to Virus Might. Sure, why not? Whatever. Gut Smasher, Fire into Fist or Reckoning, seems good. Hegoradian Enforcer, that's the same as the non-mythical one, right? Halanx's Head, better Vitality to receive now, basically. Havoc, stronger Physical Tactician, right? Like a 2-wield ranged Physical Tactician is really strong with us. Half the Mountain, more cold damage to pets, sure. Cold pets are fine. Sand King added physical damage for Mugjogen's. What? Why would you buff this item? This is also for pets, right? Like, why would you buff physical bleed pets? Oh well. Herd of Amatok, increased cold damage modifier for Blade Spirits and Frostburn damage to it as well. Makes sense, this item is like never used anyway, so this is a good buff. Herd of the Apocalypse, increased fire damage modifier for Judgment. Sure, that's a pretty fun item for like Sorks, right? Or also Tree Breakers. Icecorn Talon, removed crit dodge. We already saw that in the non-mythical one, right? Has 34 cold damage on RF now. Really nice for like cold dervishes. Also, right, Guardians of Empyrean have like cold aura now, right? So this is really nice for cold dervish. Inashka's Hand, Fizz damage modifier for Aether Ray. Corrupt Head. Yeah, sure, like more Doombolt physical stuff. Elixir's Rage Flame. It's really strong on Fire Ignafar, as I can also show you on my updated Mage Slayer Ignafar Mage Hunter, right? Jackson's Lucky Bullet. Jackson's Unlucky Bullet, dude. Why did they nerf it again? I don't get. Judgment of Empyrean added -1.2 cooldown modifier to Judgment. This is a off-hand, I believe. Which you could use if you still want like the cooldown that you had before all the nerfs to like several Judgment items for Paladins, right? You could use this now to compensate. But that would mean that you lose damage elsewhere, right? No meme where to go from level 60. Always go south. You could try playing like around Cadence and get like the Cadence shield, or get like the other Judgment shield and like go for Heart of Wrath damage, and also always no. I mean, obviously max out this, right? Probably get this, especially if you get the Heart of Wrath. I mean, the Judgment shield, Flesh Warped something. Flesh Warped from the Flesh Warped Trolls, and then either that or you get the Cadence shield from the Obsidian Chthonians and the Rifts, and then you play a Cadence as well. So either or, right? Because it's Pierce? What is Pierce? The Pierce nerf patch? In a way, yeah. Pierce is getting nerfed, but yeah, for sure. Corvax Brand. Oh yeah, really good as well for, well, lightning firebolts like Archon, right? You want to play this anyway to do it with an Archon. Really good. Also like higher activation chance on the proc. Really nice. Corvin Worm, this was the Promise Strike physical thing, right? Blah blah blah. Same thing as the non-mythic one, and like higher physical resistance reduction to Inquisitor Seal and physical damage to Inquisitor Seal. So this is also there for physical Vindicators, not only Warriors right now. So this is interesting. You could combine this with the physical Glass for Aura of Conviction, for example, to convert like all the Pierce that you get from Inquisitor 3 to physical instead. Cover around Chest Guard. The problem with a physical Vindicator though is you have 0 RR, right? Which is why you have 18 on the Seal. But it might not be enough, I don't know. Chest Guard, increased health to 680 and DA to 60, sure. Leviathan, more physical damage to Necrotic Edge. I like it because this animation takes a long time, right? This weapon pool skill has a long animation, so it should have like more damage. Navigator Signet, same as the non-mythic one. Knight's Oath, same thing, right? Malachos Infusion, same thing as the non-mythic one. Monk Anathema. Aether Cadence Tempest on this, sure. Lightning to Aether actually. Sounds good. Calamicious Desires now has no conversion to Mortal Trap anymore. This one used to have the 100% physical to fire, which is now on the gun that we talked about earlier, right? The gun has the fist to fire now, not the metal. Marco for Castor, added modifiers for Rune of Castor, of course, makes sense, right? This is physical Castor. So like you play this with Octavius, for example. Octavius Paladin, Octavius Tactician. Markovian Stratagem, increased first damage to blah 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 and blah blah. I still think you don't play this for like this stuff, right? You play it for like max Pierce Thrust and you use it for what's it called? Like Karagadra kills, for example. Mask of Infernal Truth. Increased retail to Cancel Bomb. Might be interesting. Retaliation Cancel Bomb, right? That's actually also a buff for like the Shieldbreaker that I made, right? The Acid, Retaliation, the Coronado / Cancel Bomb Shieldbreaker. More of Despair. Elemental to Aether. Oh, that's the Kelder's Tempest last seal item, right? Imagine having a shield without Physiras on Octavius. I mean, you can also just not face snake with Octavius, right? It's kind of like Targo in a way. More of the Damned, bleed damage and bleed increased duration to the Grounded Skull. I mean, okay, whatever. Necrotic Shroud, Physiras to 4%, Necrot Shroud rather. Benhirian, more heal, right? Knight's Embrace rather. Reduced Pierce damage to 7 to 12, Nightshades Reach. Increased Acid. A huge buff actually for Dervishes, right? Shadow Strike buff, Pierced Acid to Shadow Strike. And then like more Acid modifier to RF. Really nice, really nice. And also higher poison damage, I guess. Oathbearer, this is for Pierce. Tacticians, for example. Which now also has bleed damage. Okay, I guess. Pack of Treasures means moved edit to Pierce to the Grounded Skill and reduced Pierce damage. Pack of Treasures memes. Oh yeah, that's the one belt that you could use earlier for both melee and ranged, and it has a ranged passive, so the conversion is now also the ranged passive. So it no longer has added to pierce globally, it has added to pierce only for playing ranged. Still global, but like only for playing ranged. Pyroclasm mark. I really like how they're like increasing the activation chance of most of these items that give you weapon pool skills like relics as well as medals. Makes these a lot more appealing and also useful for builds that just want to hit that 100% weapon pool skill chance a little bit easier. Ravage's Bite, +1 Shaman, and added modifiers for Bone Harvest as a one-hander and a pretty bad one-hander before, so this needs like all the buffs it can get. Reaper of the Accursed is a offhand for Aether spell miners for the most part, but also for pets, so this might be good together with the buffed Krieg Scepter, right? The Warden Krieg Scepter. Right? Reaper's Claw added bleed damage, sure, I guess, why not? Reforged Chains of Oleron, more fist damage here, sure. Ring of the Black Matriarch added as Retaliation, or like increased that rather. Okay, whatever. Ignafar, Rune of Ignafar, that's the chest, right? That's the chest that gives you the aura proc as well. It has like higher bonuses to Cocktail and Fast Strike now, sure. Rune of Elgaroth is a Mortar Trap Lightning Scepter buffed, basically, makes sense. Sand Reaver Bracers have more attack speed and casting speed, added 25% lightning to physical. So pretty decent actually for example, my water, or also for our Reckoning Archons now, I guess. Like together with God Smasher, for example, you could play this. Right? It doesn't seem that bad. Sign of Burning Vengeance. It's the Lightning Retaliation Gonado / Age of Menhir item, right? So yeah, of course you update the stuff here because it has no longer pierce, and then you convert the fire to lightning instead. Lightning Retail to Mojogen's Pact, increased rotation to blah blah blah. Okay. So Lightning Retaliation, Sheepbreaker / Archon / Elementalist, I guess, but probably you always want to play Oathkeeper for Retaliation, right? So nice buffs. Sign of Noxious Wounds. This is another like Necromancer acid item, which has kind of no identity, I feel like. They're trying to buff it for Necromancer, giving more damage to Necrotic Edge, bit to acid for Necrotic Edge, acid execution. That's like another Reaper item which you could use alongside, for example, what's it called? Death Guard set, right? Serenir's Commendation, blah blah blah, whatever, right? Shadow Flame Mantle, yeah, just getting a buff is fine. Shadow of Astakarn, reduced crit damage to TSS, and this is a really strong TSS amulet, so getting a small nerf is probably still fine. Siege Breaker as a shield, more physical damage, sure, whatever. We'll have out with Blitz damage, I guess. Bear King Sigil is Force Wave, right? Increased internal trauma for Force Wave, nice. Force Wave buff for especially cooldown Force Wave. Sky Breach Bulwark, that's the Lightning Retail Ages of Menhir item. Getting a buff, sure, why not? Soul Blade increases lightning to fire to CT, increases weapon damage for it. I mean, yeah, you play this to go with the Kaizox offhand. It's pretty fun. So Ray and Ruby of Domination, increased crit damage for pets to 80%, increased crit damage for pets starting around the skill. Okay, this one gets getting a buff for pets. I have no idea about pets, so this might be cool. Spark of Voltos, increased weapon damage modifier for Sunjax, blah 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 blah. So yeah, this has like better burst on wind level, so like you need to only press it once and you will summon all three. And has better weapon damage to Sunjax, so more damage on Sunjax and better quality of life to wind level. So interesting elementalist item, right? Speaker of the Dead, increased weapon damage for PB to 14%. Okay, interesting. Spell Drinker added 45 pierce elemental. I don't really know what this is for, but I guess it has some purpose. Spell Gaze, weapon damage to penalty to 20%, another penalty buff. Starfield Emerald removed cold damage to TSS. It still has +1 projectile, right? So it's still strong. Stone Fist Rebuke. Well, Force Wave buff, but it doesn't need this anymore, right? But yeah, it's just like this buff. Still like a buff for Force Wave, right? Stone Treaders increase more armor. Those are... what are those? Boots? I think. Oh yeah, the retail, like the yellow brownish boots, I think. Storm Reaver. It's a 2-handed lightning cadence / savagery item. Nice buff here. Storm Cage Legards increase the way in the A as well. Really nice for lightning casters using Maelstrom, because you always want to use these for Maelstrom bonuses. Like for Wind Devil. Storm Seer Sapphire. Lightning to... like better lightning damage to Cadence Tempest basically, and also like Pierce to Storm Spread. So maybe you want to also play this together with the Evoker of Agoloth and a Vindicator. Storm Shepherd added lightning damage. Wait, who? Storm Shepherd. Oh yeah, the belt. Oh yeah, that's also another buff for example, Cyclone Archon, right? Tainted Ruby of Gardal. Yeah, bug fixes. Misty Girdle, increased health, sure. Thread of Mortality, +1 Shaman and Demo. Oh, this might be interesting now. This was a very bad amulet before, and now it has +1 to Elementalist. Interesting, very interesting actually. Tome of Atonement, that's the Fire GXI one, which got buffs, right? Makes sense. Sure, nice. Tome of Names, Death Sentence with +1 Inquisitor. More penalty buffs, added Ignifier buffs, sure. Touch of Purity, that's for more healing. Really good multiplayer item, by the way. Really good multiplayer scepter for a support Deceiver, for example. Or like any Occultist. Tyrion's Reprisal. Yeah, some more buffs back to Retail Cocktail. Nice. Venomancer Guile. Added 50% weapon down to Ages of Men here. That's actually a lot. Interesting. Venom Spine Greaves is an asset item, by the way. Venom Spine Greaves, more retail on the proc. Okay. Vestment of Severed Faith. Higher healing here. Okay, interesting. Viper Fang. Poison damage to Ages of Men here. Whatever, right? Void Whisper Band. Reduce chaos damage and skip proc. I mean, whatever. Vortex of Souls, this was a really strong item for especially pass through Promise Strike later for Aether and Lightning. And it's getting some nerfs, of course, so I mean that's fine, I guess. Should be still very unique and pretty strong. Yo, and Pokemon. Yeah, the patch hit, so the patch is actually there. Also, I sent you an invite to the group, which you probably have accepted, yeah. Warpfire, getting bonuses to Heart of Wrath and Divine Mandate, so like Oathkeeper bonuses to Warpfire, interesting. Watcher of Erulan, that's a ranged... This is a shield that you play with a ranged one-handed weapon, right? Getting buffs for Oathkeeper parts, so maybe like Shield Breaker or Paladin with this is better than before now. Wood of Bismiel, some pet stuff that I have no idea about. Seems to be a buff though, right? Wood of Blades, reduce pierce damage. This is in line with all the other like pierce damage nerfs, I guess. Witching Hour, increased chaos damage for pets on a grounded skull. Monka, are Witching Hour pets back? Wrath of Tenebrous, added 100% fire to cast our Reckoning. Really nice buff for, well, also my Sentinel that I'm playing, right? My Chaos Hour Reckoning Sentinel that I was playing. since like forever basically. Really nice buff to that build as well. Red Tome of Nar Ardeen. Increased acid to Dreeks of Light to 80, blah blah blah. Okay, nice buff there. Solan's Revenge, that's a Retaliation shield, which has no Fizz. So it's probably still a meme, I guess. Okay, what else is here? Night Shard, increased Wit Decay, okay, cool. Night Claw. Plus 3 Cadence, plus 3 Aura of Conviction, skill modifiers for Cadence and Aura of Conviction. So you can also play like Pierce, Cadence, Technician with us now as well. And also more Pierce damage on Blade Arc to the one meme build that we made, right? The one meme build. The one meme Tactician that we made has a little bit higher damage now. Nocturne, remove bonuses to Blade Spirits and crit damage more for Shadow Strike. That's another Pierce damage nerf basically. Oculus Visage, Mythical, added 18 flat fire and increased fire to Sigil to 70. That's a buff to both Fire Sigil as well as Fire Strike characters actually, because this is used for Fire Strike, the flat fire damage. Outcast Secret now has adamant damage, making it also viable for, say, something like Code. Devastation, right? Pretty interesting. Pack of Treacherous Means. Reduced pierce damage on the granted skill. In line with other changes, right? Pandemic with stuff to Dreeks Evil Eye and modifiers for Dreeks Evil Guardians, right? I'm too tired to talk. Oh shit. Phasebreaker, pretty meme gun, but it has passed through, so it's interesting. And this has no more damage now, so that's pretty nice. The rings, right? Ring of Khonsar, reduced fire damage for pets. Ring of Zethris, increased health. Ring of Shuroth, reduced acid damage on the proc. Ring of Shuroth, mythical, reduced acid damage, increased poison damage on the proc. Okay. Sign of Celestial Portents, that's like the Stunjacks, TSS, Aether, Lightning, Wind Devil, weird item. This one getting buffed is nice because it was like never used, even though it's pretty cool. Stroke Toss, yeah, it's like I need to drink and I need to sleep and there's still more patch notes to read. How do I even do this without dying? Noxious Wounds getting a buff, I mean that's a non-mythical one. Shot of Eternal Flame. Removed Pierce to fire to Force Weight because there's no Pierce damage on those, blah blah blah. Stormheart mythical. Better for Lightning Cadence, right, and Lightning Fire Strike than before. Storm Rend, the weirdest nerf ever in the history of nerfs. Completely not understandable to me, like why this is getting nerfed. What? It's not even the spam version, right? It's the cooldown version. Like what? Which build? Grey Knight and Panera getting buffs is really nice for Targo as well as Octavius, I assume. Voice of Dreeg. Also interesting buff here actually. Okay, set items, Alagast. Increased stuff here and there. Alagast is basically getting a buff, right? Okay, Alagast buff. Looks good. Should be good. Shot of Agravix. Removed conversion. Okay, whatever that does. That's like a Catharist Tempest set, right? I have no idea about this one. Octavius. Octavius is getting a huge buff this patch, by the way. It should be back. Eternal Knight. I don't know why they nerf the Omen build. I don't know. Oh well. Now Avenger set is actually getting, overall I would say, it's getting health gen nerfs of course. But it's also getting buffs, especially for the Oathkeeper part. So I'm expecting water to be more or less the same, or like maybe like a little bit weaker than last patch. But Archon should be a lot stronger for Avenger now in this patch. Avengers, Podrons for example, right? What's it? Eternal Trauma? I mean, whatever. I mean, the smite stuff here, right, is like what makes Archon like a lot stronger. Bearsmith Destroyer, increase the flat RR to this. That's really nice. I like it. I like it. Dude, I might play this again. Like Lightning Bearsmith Cannonsman was really good, and it's getting actually buffs. So that's interesting. Also, Bergothian is maybe back. Like all the Pierce stuff is getting nerfed, except for Bergothian, right? Bergothian actually gets a buff this patch, so maybe play Bergothian again, right? Black Scourge Covenant, this is the Black Flame, right? More health and better Ignifier bonuses. Blood Knight getting a buff, yes. Aether to Wit conversion. And bleed damage to Counter-Strike, which is like cosmetic, more or less. More flat wit here. More flat wit here. More bone harvest damage here. Yeah, I mean, this is... I don't know why they buffed us, but I'll take it. Interesting. I don't think this needed a buff, but oh well. There it is. Bismuth's Trinket buff for Dot for pets. I mean, okay, that seems fair. Chill Whisper set, increased cold damage to Blade Spirit, blah blah blah. Chill Whisper buff. I mean, I still think this is a very squishy set, but yeah, at least it's getting more damage. Dagon's Destruction is getting a nerf for some reason. I mean, this was lots of damage, so I guess it's maybe fine to nerf it. But it needs like compensation buffs because it's super squishy, right? It gets some here, but I feel like these aren't enough compensation buffs. Okay, let's check out Dark Blaze. Dark Blaze also gets like nerfs for damage, right? Less RR here. Higher LRS here. Less damage on the Granted Skull. More stun rest and heal to Little Dreig. The heal is weird though, like you don't need active healing if you're like last healing all the time anyway. The stun rest is nice though. The stun rest is really nice and it was very much needed on the spell because Dark Blaze was basically only playable with like Formidable of King's Boots or something like that. Because of stun rest that you needed. Or like Clerics of Kings. Don't see a retail set, right? Lightning retail set. Yeah, Lightning retail is getting buffed, sure, nice. Deathmark Shadow set, increased Physirus, nice. That's it. This might not be enough for Deathmark, right? I feel like Deathmark is still somewhat mediocre. But at least it's tankier now, so that's nice. Deception of Dreig, that's the, well, Dreig set, right? Yeah, the proc got nerfed a bit. Reduced percent chaos damage? Oh no, why? Reduced chance of pass through. Okay, oh well. Diviner's Codex. Diviner buff, why? Huh. Oh, it's mostly buffing the pet part of it though, I feel like. Yeah, makes sense. Ember's Calling. I feel like the pet part about Divider was maybe a little bit too weak, and the like Vitality Devastation caster part was maybe a little bit too strong. So like putting some power over to pets is fine. Ember's Calling, increased away in the A, bonus of 7%, blah 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 blah. More damage to Dreig's line, right? Wait, are they buffing the healing on this? Why? I feel like everything else is fine, but like, why are they buffing the healing on Vindictive Flame? That's so weird, dude. This one is fine to Phantasmal Armor, right? Denmark set, Deathmark set. Yeah, so overall I like these changes, apart from this one. I don't think this is needed. This part is really like really good. Ghost Menace, that's an acid pet set, right? Getting buffs across the board, okay. Pets getting buffs, yikes. Gore Drinker, that's a Pierce Bleed set, which is like really good now, I think. Like, Pierce Bleed is getting nerfs overall, but this set is getting actually buffs, so it's like really strong. Hara set is getting Fizras. So Hara set is finally not quite as cushy as it was all the time, so this might be playable now. Invoker's Will set, more stuff for what's this? No, Penetti's, right? Fire, Lightning, Ignaffer. I mean, this is Fire, Lightning, Hybrid Penetti, right? I mean, okay. Iskandras is the, well, Elemental Chosen Sky Shard set, gets more weapon damage, interesting. More dot here, right? Adjudicator seals, replace the Alpha with resistance reduction bonuses. That is interesting, actually. Very interesting. But 20 might be like too low to matter anyway. Closed Fist of Vengeance, those are the two things, right? So they're moving the... Oh, they're also giving this like damage reduction now. I mean, these are like the Jack of all trades, no master of none, two-piece set rings, right? Which are always like okay as a filler, but like never really actually good. And I think they're still gonna be that, just a little bit better than before. Justicar Guard set. That's the Justice set, right? Fizz and Fire bonuses to 200%, fire damage modifier for Blitz, so like Blitz, Fire Blitz buff. Stronger Judgment on this. And yeah, this one is reduced here though, but so that you can't only use the gloves for Judgment builds. You have to play the full set. Korba's Furious. Korba's getting a buff, right? Fist to Code Savagery. Fizras here, Fizras there, so it's maybe not as cushy anymore now. And maybe it's also worth to use the full set now because of full Fist to Code. Because the Axis... That's the problem with the Axis before, right? The Axis were... I mean, the set was converting Lightning to Code, yes? Or like the Hood, rather. But you had to like play flat code weapons because it didn't convert the Fist to Code. But now it does. So now you might actually be able to play 4-piece Korba. Krieg set. Reduced Aether damage here, removed Aether damage from Erectus power, added Aether damage to field command. So basically nerfing the Arcanus part a bit, basically like trying to nerf the Spellbinder part of this and buffing the, well, Soldier part about it, the set, right? That's basically what they're doing here. Also more damage to Bloods, sure. And yeah, that's basically what this does, all these changes do. Light's Guardian, more health, more away, more radius on stun jacks, interesting. So like it's easier to shotgun, or like it's easier to shotgun from a large distance as well. Ludigan's Pride, Pierce to Lightning to Chilling Rounds. Yeah, I mean the druid part is really good about this, so they only need to like buff the, what's it called? Like the Inquisitor parts. However, they're still buffing the Storm Totems. I mean, yeah, this is really good, right? I mean, this is a really good set. I don't know if this is like enough to make it good for Vindicator though, not sure about that. Markovin's Bastion is getting buffs across the board. Physical Blitz spell, right? Physical Blitz is gonna be insane. Basically, anyway, on this build, on this patch rather. Blood Rager is getting nerfed. No more Savagery on the helmet. Also that's because of Avenger actually. Demon Slayer defense. Sure. More Vit damage on Blade Spirits, more Vit damage on Blade Spirits. Knight's Defender. More armor. Trying to go with the theme of the set. I like it. No Fizz Rust, but armor instead. Mythical Orthos, fire damage modifier for Shadow Strike, sure. Nature's a vendor, reduce health regen, right? Here we go. Reduce health regen here and there and there and here. But replaced some stuff with Physros instead, right? Mythical Beast Quarters, Talisman. Finally just getting a nerf. That's good. Pyron's Rumination set. Lighting the fire to Motor Trap. Wait, I have to test this. I really have to test this. Oh wait, I'm already playing that right now, right? Like, why the fuck am I using global conversion? If this actually works, I have to test this. Can we start the patch notes over? Thanks. Yeah, Corplank, welcome in. That was interesting. Because earlier today, Stan and me thought that you cannot locally convert the light into fire and Motor Trap. Which would mean that this would be useless. But I hope Crate knows what they're doing and Stan and me don't. So then this is actually interesting, yeah. I wonder how this would exactly work. But yeah, it has to be tested. Radagon set. More health, more total speed, more free dress, more bleed dress, a buff for Radagon. But yeah, overall also Pyron actually gets increased health regen, even though everything else like got removed, like reduced health regen. Pyron actually has increased health regen. Agaric set, Siphon Soul stuff, Caledor's Tempest stuff. Okay, cool. Bit Aether, I guess. Rotgun set is getting buffs left and right again, like 4 patches in a row or something like that. I mean, it was a really bad set in the past, and it might be shaping up to be an actually good set now. Sentinel for 3, get some retail damage back again as well. More armor on the shield, more health on the scepter, more health on the shoulders. Lost Soul set, reduced vitality damage bonus for the pets, what? Because this was OP or what? Wait, Lost Soul set was like one of the worst pet sets, was it not? Was this getting nerfed? What? Maybe it was OP, I don't know. Shroud of Dreek set. Whatever. Strong of the Legion. I already played a Purifier with this, right? This is really nice for a tanky Purifier fast strike character. I really like this set. Change has like +2 to all skills instead of +1. Stone Guard Pomander. Increased physical damage and health. This is not Retaliation stuff, so it doesn't really matter, right? Because you only play this on retail, right? More armor though, what the hell? Even more armor on Stone Guard. Okay, Targos set, here we go. Buffing the Blade Arc flat damage and also the ABB flat damage. So it's like better for Blade Masters / Dervishes, I would say, because Warlord with the internal trauma is fine. But the helmet also gets more internal trauma. But it's mostly buffing the ABB part, which is fine. Cataclysm set gets the same treatment as the Stronghold set, +2 to all skills now. Yeah, might be actually good now if you can fit this into your build now. For elemental builds, right? Infernal Champion, Infernal Knight set. Gets a buff. I thought this was really like a strong set. I mean, it's getting tankier for the most part. Yeah, reduced burn, okay, so that's like a nerf. Then increased chaos for judgment. But remove the conversion, okay. Yeah, this is, I mean, it was a good set before, and I think it's still a good set. It might be tankier than before, that's for sure. Now, Dune Fiend is getting buffs left and right for some reason. For some reason they think this is a bad set. It's not, but it's getting buffs. So Dune Fiend should be like insane now. Mage Slayer set also gets more health. More Frostburn modifier for the Weather Shadow, sure, I mean, that's pretty nice. Runebinder set gets finally some love. Like the 4-piece set was fine for runes, but like the 5-piece set was always kind of bad. And this is probably the 5-piece, so yeah. Yeah, here we go. +2 projectiles to Rune of Calastor. We know how strong this is from the shield. Now this is really strong. This part is really strong. It's not quite as strong on Hagrad with +2 projectiles than it is like on Calastor, but it's still pretty nice. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I just realized it's not Calastor and it's Hagrad. Yeah, +2 projectiles is not as strong on Hagrad as it is on Calastor, but it might still be strong, right? I don't know, maybe it's not strong enough. Sacred Harmony, that's next in Ortos, right? Fire and cold damage for Flame Touched. 100% light into cold for Fire Strike. Sure, more Soter buffs here actually. Space Scourge set, increased physical damage. Modifier for 150. Dude, Seva should be really strong as well. And yeah, Spell Scourge buff. Wasn't this like already the strongest battle mage there is? Why is it getting like a buff to literally everything? I don't know. Okay, I mean, some of these physical items, they get compensation buffs because of the global armor changes. Because if you convert something to physical now in this patch, it will actually be reduced by armor. And because of that, they were like buffing all the physical stuff to compensate. Vanquisher also has more health, but I think it has less. Damage, basically. Yep. It's basically more health, but less damage on Vanquisher. And also more away for some reason. Okay. Vile Blade Pact. This is the mythical Venom Blade, right? Gets reduced damage here for some reason. Reduced damage here for some reason. This is so weird. Like, why is this getting nerfed and Dune Fiend getting buffed? I feel like last patch they were more or less on the same page. And this patch is like bringing unnecessary imbalance to the two sets. Like, Dune Fiend is just way better than Wildblade now, I think. I might be wrong, but I think that's what it is, right? Like, this is... this is getting Fizz here, but... I don't know, this is weird. Okay, Void Soul. Crit damage, more damage here, more damage there. And that should be a good set now as well, I think. This was already like a good... or almost good set last match. Frozen Sky Breach. Oh, you get more CDR in the full set now. Ultus Storm set, reduced lightning damage here, but more flat lightning on the helm and the gem. I mean, on the chest and the gem, okay. Which makes it better for like ranged or dual wield and worse for full set melee. A little bit. Yeah, that's the non-mythical, that's the mythical, right? Also, it has damage to savagery now, so it like incentivizes you going savagery filler and Prime Strike nuke instead. Maybe because they're doing that, maybe because of that they were nerfing the Storm Rend a bit. Not sure. Infernal Avatar. So Urzuin is getting more radius to canister bomb. I'm I think like all these radius buffs to canister bomb are there on the sets or items because canister bomb's radius gets nerfed on the base skill or something like that. Reburg's guys, increased away health, increased Aether to the Adrian Essence, so like just a straight up buff to everything on Reburg. Valdoon's increased. Okay, unlike other pierce damage nerfs, Valdoon's actually getting buffed, right? More flat, more cadence damage, increased health, increased that damage to sigil. What? Oh, it's Valgur's Hunger. I'm like, yeah, okay. Now this is Valdoon, this is all that Valdoon has, right? Like more damage. Okay, that's it. Valgur's Hunger has more health, more damage on sigil. More damage on sigil. Less damage on totem. I don't know what that. Oh, the Whale Keeper. He can finally. Is he finally strong enough to actually keep the whales? More damage to upheaval. Added Fizzras. Lightning to upheaval. Health regen. Replace bonus to Arcane Will plus 1 to Arcanus and added modifiers for IEE. Now this part might be actually interesting. I still feel like the set is mostly just there to be played with Vortex of Souls, right? And that's it. Vortex of Souls Druid, right? Just got back from Nas restaurant. Yeah, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed your dinner, Mykonos. The patch is out. So that's why we're still reading the patch notes here. Virtuous Light set getting buffed, right? More shield damage blocked, blah 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 blah. Modifiers for Ages of Men here. Virtuous Gaze added flat fire damage. Warborn's Bastion set added support for Necromancer on the set of its items. Warborn dual-wield Cadence Death Knight is unironically one of the best physical builds on this patch, I think. It's really strong. And then we have Wild Heart Vanguard set, which has less bleed damage to devouring soul and grasping ones now. Sedge. Devotions, here we go. Phoenix finally works and also has been nerfed a bit after that. So like removed health gen, less burn damage here. Affliction, flat vitality damage added to this. I mean, this is a meme-ish devotion in a way, but maybe it might be worth exploring now, I don't know. Amatok, more health, seems good. Anvil, more internal trauma, seems good. Attack Saru, increased elemental damage, seems good. Autumn Bar, Retaliation damage on this, seems good. Behemoth, reduced health gen. Well, fair enough. Behemoth was like a very easy to get, low investment, high reward health regen devotion. Dire Bear added 14 fizz damage. Makes sense to like compensate for physical nerfs, but the armor, right? Dryad, increased energy regen, who cares, right? Harassment Scythe, reduced health regen. Fixed Badman, Hound, increased armor to 9%. What? That's a lot actually. Harian, increased armor to 18%, health to 280 and shield damage plus to 65. This is really tanky when it comes to armor, right? It's actually crazy. Korvac added 2 energy regen, who cares? Kraken gets a huge buff to attack speed and casting speed. Kraken, 2 handers, shine and this patch, right? Light of Imperium, increased physical damage here, sure that's like another compensation buff. Magi increased a fire damage and reduced burn damage to 100%. Magi, interesting. Yeah, Magi is getting like a small nerf. Also the proc of Magi is getting nerfed. But it's getting a little bit more like flat damage, so like for meta it's better than before. Obelisk of Men here. Got some retail damage back. More armor, more DA. More percent DA, more shield damage block. Dude. So tanky, what the fuck? Why so many buffs though? Like, I feel like this and that's it was like enough. Like, why does it have to have all these other buffs on top? Order run, okay, more physical damage here, internal trauma here, physical internal trauma, yeah. Actually good physical devotion now again. Rat buff. Rat gem buff. Nice. Yeah, some of the changes are nuts, dude. Raven energy regen, who cares, dude? Scales of Okama, reduce health regen on scales, whatever. You did? Okay. Scarab, increased armor, okay. I like the Scarab buff, I really like this one. Shield Maiden, I really like this one as well. Targo, increased, yes. Physical increased armor. I think Targo buff is fine. Yeah, this stuff here is weird though. It's too much. Tempest needs a huge buff, dude. Total speed, so it has attack speed and casting speed. This is really nice. 4% attack speed here now. Kind of the same as Wendigo, I think has. More flat lightning, a good duration. Okay, nice. Tree of life reduction, that's cringe, or like just a nerf to pets, I guess. Ultos. Increased more lightning damage, okay, sure. Without increased. They're like buffing lightning in many ways actually. Also Torch has the flat fire damage now on the first node to the right. Really strong for like attackers, of course. Wire, increased percent physical internal charge to 120, blah 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 blah. Okay, nice buffs. Wire is pretty good for retail, of course, already. Yeah, I don't know. Seems good. Wraith, more lightning retail, sure. Wretch, more acid retail, sure. Blades Wrath, and point blank damage penalty. Huge nerf for pure spells using this item. I mean, this devotion rather. Because, yeah, you will deal less damage with the shotguns of this ability now. Fatted pool, higher retail damage, so like good for acid retaliation builds. Fissure, increased the cooldown, that's the skill from Mage, right? Pretty huge nerf here. I mean, it's still gonna be mandatory probably for fireballs, but noticeable nerf for sure. Fist of Wire, more retaliation attack. Hyrene's Glare, more route attack here as well. Hyrene might be interesting for like fire retail or something like that now, or like lightning retail now. Maul. Increased activation chance, increased radius, and remove the cooldown. Maul has no cooldown now. This is a huge buff. Will Grim Dawn have a season 3? Yes, it will. It will actually start very soon. Here is more information. So when Workman Benoit, read my scenario or I'll unsub. What? I think that's sub right now. This music is so inspiring. I imagine Proto standing with arms spread wide over a cliff with the wide ocean crashes waves into the shoreline. He says, Grim Dawn players, I want to welcome you back for season 3. Yeah, pretty much that's what this patch is already saying. So, yeah. Yeah, Maul is insane now, like this is so insane. It also has heal, which is... The thing is, it only heals for the damage it deals itself. Which means, I mean, it's AoE, right? So it's gonna be very good healing if you're in a group of enemies, right? If you're like facing one single enemy or like one boss, it's not that good. But if you're like in a group, it's insane. Messenger of War, increased fire retail, sure. Phoenix Fire, fixed an issue where the absorption effect was not applied. So Phoenix is finally working as intended, like 3 years after its introduction. Practice Tempest, increased lightning damage on this as well, and increased base targets to 2. That's also really nice. Yeah, Tempest needs like all the buffs it can get. Like, nobody was using this for lightning because you can just go triple tier 3 on lightning, right? So this might maybe finally make it viable. Shield Wall, increased base armor. Okay, cool. Targo's Hammer, getting more retaliation at attack again. This might be dangerous, but okay. Trample buff is fine though. Okay, here we go. Soldier, right? Cadence, straight up buff, more damage. Fighting form, more AoE to Cadence basically, right? That's what this means. Force wave, just a buff, just like that, right? Buff. Tremor, small nerf to spam force wave, which overall these two together would probably should probably mean that, well, cooldown force wave is stronger, and spam force wave is either the same or like still a little bit stronger than before as well. Running force, well, I mean, of course it's gonna be like easier to scale force wave anyway now because of the pierce damage being removed and physical damage being added here instead. Also, Menhir's Bulwark has more physical damage scaling with rank now as well. The munition has Searing Strike, so it's one of the modifiers for Fire Strike. I think it's the one for one-handed melee. Has more damage modifier now and crit damage, right? Let me double check that real quick. If that's actually the one-handed melee one that's getting buffed here. Searing Might is for two-handers and Searing Strikes for one-handed melee, yes. So one-handed melee or like dual-wield Fire Strike melee is getting overall huge buffs, right? Left and right and right and left. So Fire Strike dual wield could be good now, even for melee. Cadence Bomb produce fragment scaling with rank to blah blah blah. So this means, yeah, this is getting obviously a nerf, but the radius was getting buffed, right? So it might still be about the same, like about as easy / hard as before to like shotgun enemies with the fragments, right? Also, Brimstone reduced fragment scaling with rank to 5 to 6. And 6 to 7 to max ultimate rank. A nerf to ranged Fire Strike, especially dual wield. And also pass through, even more so than non-pass through. Shattering Blast, which is the secondary of, or like the third one to Canister Bomb. This one might have to do with my acid retaliation Granado Shipbreaker that I made, right? Where I said this doesn't have enough damage for retaliation. So that's getting a buff here. That's good. Granado increased physical damage, removed, increased and removed pierce damage, right? Same thing as with for Force Wave, right? Streamlining down to make it easier for conversion. You want Cadence from level 2? I mean, you can play Cadence at level 2, right? That's a level 1 skill after all. Temper increased physical damage scaling with rank, sure. And you can just play Waldrock's Crusher, right? Like once you get it, it's really good. So yeah, physical demo is also getting buffs. Big one, increased burn damage scaling with rank. Might be good, might be not that good. I don't know if it's good enough or not. I feel like the big one might... I mean, this is a step in the right direction, I guess. Okay, test. Dreek's Evil Eye increased acid damage scaling with rank, just like that. Which is why the many of the acid Dreek's Evil Eye items actually got a nerf, but Fire and Vitality are definitely getting buffs overall. Acid might be like about the same overall, but yeah, Chaos, Vitality and Fire are getting huge buffs this patch. Bloodburst now also strikes the primary target, energy cost removed. Wait, Bloodburst never struck the primary target? Wow. Sleep is good for me? Yeah, it is. And I'm there soon, very soon. And these are getting more energy cost. Okay, whatever. Nightblade, Blade Spirit, reduced damage scaling with rank, blah 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 blah, point blank reduction, penalty damage penalty, and reduced bleed damage. So yeah, Blade Spirits are obviously getting a nerf. Like, deserved, right? Should still be good, I think. Probably. Execution, nerf for whatever reason, we will never understand. At least the Shadow Strike nerfs didn't go through, that they also planned. Arcana's Chosen Sky Shard, increased gold. Actually, yeah, these are getting buffs. Like, the base skill is getting a buff. Some of the items are getting nerfs, so should be better without endgame gear, and about the same or maybe slightly worse with endgame gear. Shaman, Mojogen's Pact, increased physical damage scaling with rank, in line with armor, nerfs, yeah, like armor buffs, physical conversion nerfs, whatever you want to call it. And this is of course also good for pets, right? Like that's the dangerous part, this is good for pets. Savagery, increased weapon damage scaling with ultimate rank, blah blah blah, so yeah, savagery buff. Storm Touched also buff basically, more or less. More consistent damage on this, right? Increased chance, lower damage, net gain with smaller damage spikes, yeah, makes sense. Wind Devil, increased movement speed. Oh yeah, Wind Devil basically like huge quality of life, they feel a lot better to play. A lot better. Maelstrom is getting a small buff, nerf there, so... But I guess that's fair. Still. Inquisitor. Chilling rounds. More damage on chilling rounds. Seems fair. This was, I think, the worst weapon pool skill on the tree. Ignafar getting better AoE and some more damage. Intensify, which is also an Ignafar skill, more damage. Lightning Tether, which is a Stormbox secondary, more lightning damage here. So that's interesting. Ranged expertise, increased pierce damage scaling with rank. Yeah, I think this was rather bad. The flat pierce on this was rather bad, and now it's better, so that's good. Storm Spread is also getting a buff. Okay. I don't know about that. I don't think it needed that, but okay, there it is. Necromancer, raise skeletons, reduce pet attack. Damage on skeleton, fireball, nova, deathbolt, and undeath missiles. How about Crate, you just like make skeletons a little bit tankier if you nerf them? Like, how about compensating for like nerfing the already like basically worst pet in the game? Oathkeeper, Heart of Wrath. Reduce fire and burn damage scaling with rank. Yeah, that's because of Paladins. Presence of Virtue, increase bleed and turn trauma damage scaling with rank. It's a buff to Targo and like some bleed Oathkeepers. Overall, I think like Oathkeepers are getting some more bleed support this patch, which is nice because they have it. They just weren't quite able to make it work properly yet, so maybe this patch. Haven. Healing, increased scaling. This is really good for like a Paladin, of course, because of Word Renewal, as well as a Sentinel for a bit of Druid. Also, you get more health, right? Like, it's kind of always worth it to go for 10 points in Haven now for the health, right? 30% of 10 points is, I think, the same as Shaman now or something like that. It's actually a lot. Rebuke, more fizz damage here, makes sense. This was only a 1-pointer in every single build apart from, well, Retaliation builds, right? Soulfire, more lightning damage on this. A Reckoning buff basically, why not? Empyrean Guardians. Fix an issue where flat damage modifiers an item for the skill were not increasing the damage on the basic attack for Guardians. Okay, so interesting. The gloves, right, it got nerfed for Guardians with the flat elemental damage. Maybe they got nerfed because they weren't like basically properly working in the first place, so this might overall be a buff then to Guardians, right? But their burn damage is, of course, nerfed anyway. Celestial Presence, now reduced percent elemental resistance instead of any, yeah. Celestial Presence, right, the aura from Guardians. That's one of the other big parts, like big changes in this patch, right? Has elemental resistance reduction now, which is very good for lightning, like Lightning Archon, Cyclone Archon. And also Code, like for example Code Dervish, Code Our Reckoning Dervish, Code RF Dervish. I really like it because it does open up a lot. On the other hand, Oathkeeper feels a little bit more than before, like a jack of all trades now than before even, right? But I still think this is good. Yo, Rafior, welcome on. Glad you like my guides on YouTube, and thanks for watching as well. I'm usually not up this late, like never. It's like 3 AM it's literally 3 AM for me right now. However, if there's a patch dropping, right, we have to read this, so Virus Might gets the same treatment as Force Wave and Grenada, right? Reduce, increase physical damage, remove Pierce. Volcanic Stride, removed burn damage, scaling with rank. Makes sense. I mean, I don't think skaters like are affected by this that much anyway, because they just stack the flat the flat fire. They don't really care that much about the burn damage. But yeah, it's nice. Nice. You've never read this many words in your life. Are you sure? Do you guys think Mike actually read this? Like, he commented this 2 hours ago, right? Like, I just finished reading it, and I started basically like when it was 10 minutes old, right? Did Mike actually read this, or is it like no fucking way he read this, right? No fucking way he actually read this. He just reads 10 times faster than me. I mean, yeah, Mike is really good at reading and like also reading like he's really good at reading stuff like this, right? Like skimming. And then like done it. Anyway, thank you so much for everybody for watching. I hope you still enjoyed me reading these patch notes, even though I was like really tired and I would have liked to have read these like 3 or 4 hours earlier on a day like this. I'll try to put this on YouTube ASAP as well so that they can rewatch it. Basically, like once the stream ends, I'm gonna start uploading, and yeah, it's gonna be out tomorrow then. So yeah, I'll get some sleep, and hopefully you guys are gonna enjoy the patch as well today, tomorrow, on Halloween. Happy Halloween, by the way, right? On Sunday. If I'm not there to stream, then happy Halloween, right?